Okay, let's dive into this. We need to talk about NIO, the Chinese EV maker, because they have a plan for 2026 that sounds, well, it sounds completely insane. It really challenges everything we think we know about how you're supposed to build out an electric vehicle network.
So get this, here's the headline number. NIO is planning to build 1,000 new battery swap stations in the year 2026. And let me be super clear, that's not their total goal. That is the plan for one single year. The first thing you have to ask is, how on earth is that even possible?
I mean, if you just do the basic math, that comes out to about 2.7 stations being built every single day. That includes weekends, holidays, all of it. A brand new station coming online roughly every 9 hours. It just sounds completely made up. So, what's the secret? To understand the how, you gotta understand what these stations are. We are not talking about a simple charging post you stick in the ground. A NEO swap station is a building. It's basically a small robotic garage, with automated arms, complex battery racks, high voltage grid connections, the whole shebang. So how are they building almost 3 of these a day? Well, this is where the genius comes in. They've completely changed their mindset. They stopped treating these stations like construction projects and started treating them like products that roll off an assembly line. So instead of building everything on site with all the delays from permits and weather, they prefabricate the entire station in a factory. They just truck it out, drop it on a prepared slab, hook up the power, and boom, it's online. They've literally productized infrastructure. So why? Why go through all this trouble? It all comes down to something they call service pressure. The best way to think about it is like a restaurant on a Friday night. A few customers, no problem. But when everybody shows up at once, which is exactly what happens when you sell more and more cars, the whole system can just grind to a halt. You get long lines, angry customers, you know the deal. Most companies run away from that pressure. NIO is building a system specifically designed to handle it. And here's why that matters. It's all about throughput. At a gas station, a pump is tied up for maybe 5 minutes. A typical DC fast charger, that spot could be occupied for 45 minutes, maybe even longer. So to serve the same number of cars, you'd need like 9 times more chargers and 9 times the land. Swapping, though, gets you back to gas station speeds, even faster actually. It means a huge number of cars can get in, get a full battery, and get out without causing a massive bottleneck. Okay, so the manufacturing is clever, the theory makes sense, but does it actually work in the real world? Like, do people really use this thing? This is where we stop talking about the plan and start talking about the proof. And it all comes down to one absolutely massive data point. 100 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. NIO has officially completed over 100 million battery swaps. This isn't a pilot program, it's not a small-scale test. This is a massive industrial-scale system that is working day in and day out right now. So, what does a number that big actually tell us? Well, first, it proves the tech is reliable. 100 million times a robot has taken out a half-ton battery and put a new one in, flawlessly. So mechanical reliability? Check, that's solved. But maybe even more important, it proves people are on board. The critics always said, oh, people will never want to give up their battery. Well, 100 million swaps says they were dead wrong. And this gets to a really profound behavioral shift. The battery stops being this precious part of your car that you own, and it becomes a utility. It's just like the propane tank for your barbecue, right? You don't care if you get the exact same metal tank back. You just want a full one so you can start cooking. That's what's happening here. People are realizing they don't need to own the energy storage. They just need quick and easy access to the energy. Okay, so NIO has the technology, it's proven reliable, and users love it. But there is one giant monster hurdle that kills almost every infrastructure project like this: real estate. How do you find 1,000 great locations in 1 year? I mean, this is the classic problem, right? You can build these things in a factory all day long, but you still have to put them somewhere. That means finding land, dealing with zoning laws, getting permits, negotiating leases. It's a nightmare that can take years for just one location, let alone 1,000. So what's Mio's trick? They're not doing it alone, and this is the part of the story that is just fascinating. In an unbelievable twist, NIO has partnered up with Sinopec. That's the China Petroleum and Chemical Corporation. Yeah, you heard that right. One of the biggest big oil companies on the entire planet. An EV company is teaming up with the absolute definition of old energy. So why would a gasoline giant ever help out an EV company? Well, because it's a perfect marriage. Think about it.
Sinopec has the best real estate in the country, prime street corners, highway rest stops, but they're selling a product that's, slowly going out of style. NIO has the fuel of the future, but they desperately need that land. Sinopec gives them the locations, they already have the high voltage grid connections, and the land is already zoned for energy replenishment. It's a massive shortcut.
This partnership is so much more than just a convenient deal. It's a total game changer. It allows NIO to build a strategic advantage, a barrier that is incredibly difficult for any other car company to copy. They're literally building the new rules for the energy game.
In the business world, we call this a competitive moat. It's an advantage that protects you from competitors. If you buy an IIO, you get exclusive access to this incredible, fast-growing network of 3-minute refuels. If you buy another EV, well, you're stuck waiting in line at the public chargers with everyone else. The network itself becomes a key reason to buy the car.
This strategy also makes you look at NIO's entire history differently. For years, all the critics would say is that the company was just burning through cash building this expensive network. But maybe they weren't burning cash. Maybe they were pouring the foundation for a skyscraper. And now that ridiculously strong foundation is set, 2026 is the year they start building up, and at a speed nobody thought was possible.
And really, for all of us, this is a fundamental change in how we think about EVs. For a decade, the conversation has been obsessed with range, range, range. How much energy can you carry with you in a giant, heavy battery? NIO's strategy suggests that's the wrong question entirely. The real question is, how quickly can you access energy that's all around you? And if the answer is just 3 minutes, maybe you don't need to carry so much in the first place.
This whole thing leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. When a gas giant like Sinopec starts hosting battery swap stations for an EV company, the lines start to get really blurry. At what point does the difference between old energy and new energy just disappear? It makes you wonder if 10 years from now, we'll stop talking about car companies versus oil companies, and we'll just be talking about energy companies.